All right, everybody. Thank you for your patience and understanding that we're running a little bit behind sometimes. And that's why we say we'll go live around a certain time. But the Truth Seeker podcast now has a backdrop. How about that? Cool, huh? You guys know how God's doing a new thing. So while those notifications are going out, let's go ahead and do our usual. Okay, yeah, our usual check on everything. Because we're going to talk about this. I have mentioned, when you are out and about, okay, and you start to spot a narcissist a lot quicker because God is sharpening our spiritual discernment. And so as he continues to do that, we're able to pick up on the signs, okay, behavioral patterns, because no grown adult should have these things, okay? A mature grown adult should not, okay, display certain micro expressions. They should not be toddler dancing eyes is one thing, okay? So keep that in mind. But let me go ahead and do our sound check real quick. All right, all right, all right. There we go. And thank you, Chris. Yeah. So we are, always working on something for y'all. Okay, so let me go ahead and get the formalities out of the way. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA Truth Seeker podcast on the YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center. That's right, while combating radio frequency for healthier living. Never forget that, you all. Never forget that that's our movement at CHA, okay? We have that movement for a reason because, oh my goodness, let me tell you, this detox journey is something else. But it's great, though, because we're doing it for the right reason. We are embarking on that healthier living because we do have that choice, okay? Yes, we do. It's up to us, right, to make better choices. And in order to do that, though, we do have to have our own, we have to have our self-thinking cap back. We have to have our own, we got to have control of our own thoughts back. We got to have, going through that renewing of the mind, okay, for transformation, because that's what God needs. See, that's the way to look at it, though, too. When God awakened us to all the narcissism, and that was one of the most common questions that we came across on Quora. And people ask this question in different ways, but it pretty much was, oh my goodness, is everybody a narcissist? Because it was just like, wow, right? In the beginning. But over time, as God sharpens our spiritual, okay, we're able to pick up on things that we put away. Chosen one put these childish things away naturally. Okay, and this is one of the things that these evildoers, the narcissists out here, can see in us that we don't even know about it, though. Not until we start learning that, hold on a second. These are toddlers in adult bodies. No true blue grown adult should have toddler dancing eyes. That's number one right there. Because God revealed that to me as I was doing the self-reflecting and such. Because I was like, well, why is it that they seem so intent when you first meet them, right? They're so intent or so interested, it seems, right? They're like it looks as though they're excited to be sitting there listening. Like they'll ask one simple little question and we don't realize, oh, we're still a fool uttering all our mind. Yeah, God tells us only a fool does that. Hey, we did. Telling the evildoer all of our mind. Like telling about our previous abusive relationships, and we learn something about that. And that's why they try to one up the previous abuser. Like that Jezebel case study, she tried to one up the ex-psycho roommate narcissist. I was like, oh, I see what she's trying to do, because he couldn't take us down, and she's gonna try. And y'all see, we are living proof, chosen one. We are living proof that no. The more aware we become, the more we trust God. That no weapon formed against thee shall prosper. It is not going to work. So I want y'all to think about that, though. That toddler dancing eye, or the toddler dancing eyes. Oh, I did. I caught it on one of the neighbors already. I went, oh. It looks like a little twinkle in the eye as they're listening excitedly to you divulging all of your mind. And so we learn to watch out for that. If they have toddler dancing eyes, they are a narcissist, because no grown adult should have that. They should not be displaying excited toddler eye. That lets you know they got some growing up to do, because they're still looking at you as a shiny new object. I caught it in the grocery store one time. I was wearing the Just Say No to the Trauma Bond t-shirt, which, by the way, y'all can get yours over there on the website. Yeah, I do have those up. And yeah, my drop shipper does ship to other countries. If it doesn't, it will let you know. But I do know that it does ship to the UK. Because we've got a fellow warrior who's already got her God is the only validation I need long sleeve tee. Yeah. But I was wearing the Just Say No to the Trauma Bond t-shirt. And this dude, as I walk in, because I was in the car office working during that season. And so I noticed that he turned around, and sure enough, on display were those toddler dancing eyes, looking at my face and thinking that I'm a new shiny toy, but I caught it. But then he read my shirt real quick. Just Say No to the Trauma Bond. I have never seen someone turn around so quick. And I went, gotcha. So it becomes easier to catch that stuff, because you're no longer blind to it. You're no longer oblivious to the fact that, hey, I'm supposed to be a grown adult, but they're displaying toddler-like behaviors and toddler-like expression. They never outgrow those. See, listen, once they become demonically possessed, okay, chosen one, listen, they got to want to be delivered. We can't chase after them and say, hey, you need to be delivered. No. They have to know that they need to be delivered. They have to know that they're demonically possessed. And they got to want to change. They got to get Jesus. Right? They got to get Jesus. Jesus is the only one who saves. So, listen. I know. It takes a while to sink in. But God says, basically leave them where they're at. If they want to be delivered, they'll come to us. If they want to be delivered, they'll come to us. Okay, they'll come to who they know can do the trick. Okay? And being delivered largely requires overcoming trauma triggers. Think about that for a minute. Even though chosen ones, we were not demonically possessed, we did have to be delivered from some narcissistic tendencies ourselves. That's what we had to be delivered of. From is those narcissistic tendencies that we picked up on because of social influence. So don't forget that. But as we grow and mature, okay, that's what we start to realize. So if you see the toddler dancing eyes, if you're talking to them, they ask you a question, be mindful how much you divulge too. Okay, be mindful of how much you divulge. Because if you see those toddler dancing eyes, you zip it. Yep, they are excited on the first meeting, but not for the reasons we think. Exactly. They're just trying to gather ammunition. That's what the narcissist does. Just trying to gather ammunition to use to abuse you later. So if we see toddler dancing eyes, those excited looking, it looks like a little twinkle, and you think it's so cute. No, it's not. Because that's what God revealed to me, because when I met the ex-psycho roommate, he was 63. And yeah, I remember, but see, I didn't know about narcissism at the time. And that was kind of a rock bottom season of my life, okay? And I didn't know where I was going, what I was going to do. And so I was so vulnerable during that season that it's no wonder that Jezebel was sent across my path to try to see if it could take me out. Okay, but then a couple of years goes by and I start my educational journey, turn the life around, and now here we are, ministering to you all, serving the God Spirit and you all. So, helping you overcome trauma and grow closer to God. Because how did we make it out of those seasons, right? But God, the whole time. But I remembered sitting at that dining room table at his house that he had when I first met him. And he had those very toddler dancing eyes that I totally was oblivious to. And so I was like, oh, that's right. And so God revealed that to me. It's like, yeah, he said, watch out for that. Toddler dancing eyes is not normal for a true blue, grown, mature adult. See, chosen one, when we meet one another, we don't have that because we don't view people as objects. Okay, we don't. Even the narcissist, we don't view as objects. We just know that they're not human in the sense of having empathy and compassion. Okay? But we know they're demonically possessed. And we also know we're not wrestling against that flesh and blood. So it's important to know that, okay, toddler dancing eyes, that's a red flag. You spot them that quick. And then, of course, like we talk about often, that if they look at you with a look of hate, because no grown, mature adult who has put away childish things is going to look at you like that. If they give you the evil eye, you know that's the Jezebel. It's really simple. We don't ignore these things. See, that's the difference now in the spiritual awakening and God's reality, is that we are no longer, right? We are no longer dismissing that kind of stuff. We're no longer allowing it to make us feel as though we've just done something wrong, right? How many times do they do that? There's another red flag. That's how you spot the narcissist. Also, let's say you happen to be somewhere and a normal body function occurs. You belch. And you say, excuse me. Yeah, that's the way to be polite, because let's face it, you don't always know it's going to come out of the blue sometimes. And you've got somebody over here and they look at you shaking their head as if you just did something wrong. That's a narcissist. Because the devil wants people to hang on to their air pockets. Yes, the devil wants people to hang on to and hold in their air pockets, because those air pockets are needed for the salt molecule to press up again when the body's internal heat is too hot and cause pain and suffering. It's that simple. It is that simple. God revealed that to me and I went, oh, that makes sense. Because going through the detox, God is revealing these truths. See, we're truth seekers now. And we don't get duped in going and buying a bunch of stuff, popping a bunch of, no, we're herbs, yes. Herbal remedies, we'll go for that. But we're not falling for the matrices. You need to take this or that. No. I just need that air pocket to loosen and get out of the way so that the salt can get eliminated. That's it. But if you, right, or basically, whatever it is you're doing, you're just being you. You're being human. So whatever it is that you do that you know is just being human, and you have somebody that looks at you and does that, looks at you as though you just did something wrong, then clearly that's a narcissist. Because you know you didn't do anything wrong. So watch out for that too, because many of us have experienced that with the narcissist. Is that we'll go and we'll do something, okay, or something will occur naturally. We say, excuse me, and they look at us as though we just like totally violated some rule. And they're shaking their head at you. Watch out for that. That's them being judgmental though too. Never forget that. But it's also their demonic side trying to make us feel as though we're not allowed to do that, because the enemy wants people to hang on to those air pockets. It's the air pocket that causes the pain when the metal molecule pushes up against that. So never forget. I cannot stress how simple the process is with radio frequency poisoning. And so that's the other thing. Now, there are some narcissists who are psychopaths. And if they are a serial killer, they are a psychopath. It's that simple. Well, they can be a sociopath too, but here's the other side. The Jezebel. Jezebel typically will make it to psychopath status at some point. But as they age and continue to fail at taking out a chosen one, they will get demonically demoted all the way back to a regular run-of-the-mill narc, but they're still a Jezebel. And that is what happened to the one who birthed me, okay? The Jezebel that gave birth to me got demoted all the way back to just a regular run-of-the-mill narc, but she was still a Jezebel because she was giving me those evil eyes. They're told on her way out. I caught those. And then the step Jezebel that same thing happened to him. Regular run-of-the-mill narc. Because even when they spiked in the past, they tried to do some things. But the biggest thing that got them demoted back to a regular run-of-the-mill is the fact that their love bombs were not working on me anymore. Because I could tell what they were. Starting my teapot for me, and I never asked them to. And then I caught her out of my peripheral one morning when they didn't start it for me. When they heard me get up, they would go and start my teapot so that I could have a cup of tea as soon as I got to the kitchen. How nice. Thank you. But I didn't ask you to do that. Because I didn't know what time I would get up in the morning, so I never said it. the night before. I didn't set it. I would just get up and go and turn it on and then go make my bed and get around. And by the time I was done with all of that, it would be ready. No biggie. But that love bomb did not work on me. And I watched one day when they didn't do it. They didn't faze me. And she was in there on her deathbed watching my face to see if I was going to do what we did in the past, right? When we got trauma bonded, she was waiting to see if I was going to say, hey, how come no one didn't give them a lick? I didn't flinch. I just started it and went and did what I usually do, make my bed. And I never expected them to start my tea. I didn't. Remember, the trauma bonding is a huge sign you're dealing with a narcissist. So pay attention to the small ways like that. That was such a subtle way of love bombing. And it appears as though they're helping you out, you see, because that trauma bonding process leads to building an expectation of something. This is why we, as chosen ones, learn in God's reality that we learn to let go of expectations of people. The only expectation we can have is God delivering on his promises. That's it. Okay? And I'm talking about when it comes to the human race. We lose all expectation of people because we realize that when we have high expectations of others based on their position, status, and title, we have to stop doing that. Because many of us start to learn that, oh, you know what? Just because they got this position, status, or title, we were taught by the Matrix to look up to, right? Right. We were taught to look up to. Now, I have respect, okay? Just kind of not the kind of respect that God's talking about, not having. When God says he's not a respecter of person, he's talking about fleshy desires. He's talking about the carnal mind. He's not a respecter of those. And so neither are we now that we got the spiritual mind. Okay, that's what God means. So let's not get it twisted. But when we, as a human race, have mutual respect, meaning, okay, that we're going to be polite and courteous and kind, okay, overcoming evil with good as we're supposed to. And so because of that, we always found ourselves getting disappointed when one of these so-called authority figures, if you will, turned out to be really stupid and not at all very experienced in their so-called area of expertise. We got very disappointed, didn't we? Right, because we had high expectations of them. See, that's the narcissistic tendency that we have to overcome. That's just one. Lose that mindset, lose that expectation, because just because, for example, so-and-so is a teacher at such and such school, okay, as a person, wow, right? Okay, and so we learn these things. We're like, okay, got to lose those high expectations of people, because that's what trauma bonding does. It has us build. So that comes from the trauma bond to the world, you all. That's what happened to us. Is we got trauma bonded to the narcissist, but first we had to get trauma bonded to the world. So the Matrix taught us that this title, status, or position is the voice in the industry, what have you, right? Okay, and so we in our minds were like, all right, they must be really intelligent then. Well, it should be. But then we learned that it's a world stage and we have a lot of actors. And it's like, okay, just like the narcissist. So we learn to be mindful of that not have any more high expectations of people. So, okay, did mine have psycho tendencies? Well, I will tell you this, that God revealed to me, because I remember during the time of my life where things were kind of rock bottom, And I was going back and forth to their house and then to this narcissist I was dating at the time. And I had a moment like that Jezebel case study that I had to close last year. And I said, okay, hold on a second. This feels way too familiar. And God revealed to me, he said, yeah, the time that I would wake up in the big H and be like, what happened? How did I get here? Why am I here? Because when she did have psycho tendencies, when she did, her and the step dude, yeah, in on it together. Remember, narcissists team up with one another. Especially as they're aging, because they can't, they're losing their physical strength, so they'll team up together. But yeah, there was one evening where I was enjoying some wine, and they sure did. They spiked my dream. That's the only way I was like in here going. And then the only thing I had to go on was the story that she told me. And so at the time, I believed it. But now I know better. None of it was true. They were just trying to get me dependent on man. That's what the Jezebel case study from last year did as well. When I woke up in the big H, I was like, hold up a second. I'm reading the text messages and picking up all the verbal abuse and all that. And I'm like, yeah, that story has a lot of holes in it. And so with my forensic education, I'm like, hold up a second. This feels way too familiar. And then with the ex-psycho roommate, it happened there too. And I didn't realize that he was poisoning me with radio frequency, though, right there in the apartment and in the house when I moved in to be a living maid. Yeah, I didn't know he was doing that. Not right away. But once I started to learn what he was up to, oh, I sure did. Crash course in Physics 101, and I started researching, and I found out about RF and all of that. And I was like, okay, I see what he's trying to do. Getting that heightened awareness. So there you go. But yeah. So several times in my life that had happened. And I said, okay, now I'm like, okay, that's it. I got it. There's a pattern here. Because as they age, they don't have the physical strength. And not only that, they don't want to get physical because they don't want to leave any physical evidence. Because they know that, as I learned about in my toxicology master's program, that there's a date rape drug. I believe it's GHB. And yeah, it does not stay in the system for very long at all. Oh no, I mean, I learned about that first from the Women's Crisis Center from years ago with this bodybuilder that I was dating who was doing the same thing. Because I remember getting up, and little did I know that I had forensics in my blood, but I was waking up with weird bruises in places. And I'm like, and he was trying to tell me that, and I was like, hold up a second. I only had 2 drinks. I only had 2 drinks. I knew that about myself. I was like, what is going on here? And then and I remember telling her, because when he got physical as I was leaving, and he broke a glass picture over my head. So I went to the Women's Crisis Center, and they helped me. And, he's the one that got the lifetime restraining order. The judge threw the book at him because he got haughty with the judge. Ooh, you don't do that. So, anyhow, with that being said, she told me about that date rape drug and that it doesn't stay in the system. I mean, if you want to catch any of it in your system, it's like they got to be right after you pass out. They got to take some blood right then and there. That's how fast that substance eliminates from the system. And these psychos and the narcissists know that. The enemy knows that. And so I learned more about that in my toxicology. It's in my book. Okay, it's in that big green toxicology book I got. And yeah, it's It knocks you out quick. And and so, it's like, wow. But the enemy, why did the enemy do that to me several times throughout my life? Well, because it always worked. It always worked. Until the last time. Because I heard God say, he said, that's it. That's not, never again. Because we're not going to allow it. That's why. And so I said, okay, spotting narcissists quicker now. Okay. We got this. And so the other one to look out for you all is puppy dog eyes. I'm big on that. Don't fall for the grown adult coming at you. You can see it. You know what puppy dog eyes look like. If you have a grown adult that's trying to tell you it's likely true they're being abused, but the thing is that some of them are not. But they like to play victim. And that's what they're doing. If they come at you with puppy dog eyes and they're trying to play victim, watch out. That's a narcissist. So, no, they, whenever a narcissist love bombs like that, a lot of times, it usually is. They want something in return, and that's usually supply. They want emotional supply from you. They want a reaction. They want you to respond. So, of course, but they were also trying to build up expectation that I have since gotten rid of. Because I knew what was up. So, yep. And if you don't set high expectations, and you're not going to be hurt or disappointed when they let you, when they let us down. And so we just don't have any more expectation of them. And that helps us spot the narcissist quicker as well. Absolutely. That helps us to spot them because you no longer have an expectation that they're going to behave a certain way. Think about that. Yeah, you no longer have an expectation. Oh, okay, they're an adult. So you would expect them to be behaving as such, right? Lose that expectation. Yep. I'm just checking those comments, y'all, to make sure I'm not missing anything. So when you see me take a pause, that's what I'm doing. So thank you for understanding and for your patience. Because we also learn that when we get up here and start speaking and things like that, the world tried to tell us that we have to fill every airspace. No, we don't. We could take our time. We could talk. This is conversational. This is all about letting you all share your insight and ask your questions as well during the live podcast on the YouTube channel. And for those who may not know or need a reminder, in the description below, you will find the access link to the pre-recorded CHA's True Seeker podcast. And they have, on that platform, have opened up the option now for us to go live over there too. So, listen, I don't know. I would like to do that with some of the podcast episodes, but I have to test out some stuff. I got to learn more about it. I mean, I already went in there and I read all of that, but I also want to make sure that, I don't know if they'll let me use my backdrop. I don't know yet. So I'll have to experiment with that in the future, but they did open up the option for us to do that now. And so when that happens, we might be moving it from here to there. I'll let y'all know. But for right now, right here on YouTube, every Tuesday, God willing, around 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And, that's right. As we continue to discuss these important aspects of the spiritual awakening, because spotting the narcissist a lot quicker is necessary in the spiritual battle for the mind. So we talk about the Cheshire Cat grin. That's a Jezebel. Okay? Don't ignore that. That was one of my lessons from the final Jezebel case study, by the way. Oh, it doesn't mean I won't still have case studies who are narcissists, but God revealed to me that as far as the Jezebel, because we can spot them extremely quick now. Cheshire Cat grin, evil eye, right? If it's one or the other, that's it. That's a Jezebel. We don't allow ourselves to, no. And also to watch out for pushy type behaviors. Grown adult, true blue, mature, grown adult, don't act like that. Okay, they're very, very pushy because they know that kind of pushiness irritates people. They know that. Remember, when a narcissist knows that there's something that will get under your skin, they're going to do more of that. They're going to do more of that. And we learn to just, once we are emotionally regulated and we stay that way, nothing they can do is going to, nothing they do is going to affect us anymore. So, there you go. Thank you. Being openly obnoxious. Yep, being openly obnoxious. That's a narcissist. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. That is another telltale sign that that's a narcissist, because a true blue, grown, mature adult does not have that. Okay? Right. And watch out for anything overly done. And that includes behaviors as well. Yeah, that includes behaviors. If they're overdoing, and even in the most subtle ways too, that's a narcissist. Because, we see things as they are. Chosen one. Because they're the ones out here making big deals out of stuff. Mountains on a molehill. That's another telltale sign you're dealing with a narcissist. Because, come on, let's face it, when we were toddlers, actual toddlers, right? When we were. Yeah, I mean, everything looked so big to us, right? Because we were so little. So, of course. But the difference is, chosen ones, we outgrow that. The narcissists never do. They continue to make mountains out of molehill, making big deals out of things that we learn in God's reality don't matter. So once we learn about things in God's reality that don't matter, we go, oh. And then also, don't forget about the fact that it is a world stage. Okay, you all, and that there are, the narcissists are playing their role. Or roles, rather. Okay, the narcissists are playing their roles. Exactly how the devil wants them to. By doing his bidding, because he's not omnipresent. So he has to have some flying monkey narcissists, now doesn't he? Exactly. Because I would tell you that when God tells us it's hunker down season like never before, and we don't go outside for a few days in a row, the devil doesn't know. Because when we are out of sight, we are out of mind, right? That's how the narcissists operate. And also pay attention to things that they might say when you first meet them, okay? Pay closer attention to some things they might say, because they tell on themselves. It's just that we missed it in the very beginning. So always wanting, they always want the last word, and dominate the conversation. That's right. That's right. You'll feel it. You'll sense it. You'll sense it. That's why I tell y'all that here at CHA Academy and CHA overall, the ministry, you have a voice. We've got a very active community forum at the Academy. So you all, yeah, we're not trying to dominate nothing over there. Yes, it's Christ leading the way, and God ultimately guiding our steps. But we are interacting with one another, iron sharpening iron, in a community of spiritual warriors for Christ. Because we realize that we don't know everything. In fact, we realize that there's a lot, we really don't know anything, do we? No, so we stay immersed in the Word of God. And so we go through life experiences and things like that. And so we do get some education, of course. But we learn that we don't know everything. We're never going to. And so I know chosen ones are very intellectual. And see, that's the thing that bothers the narcissist. There's another red flag for you all. If you happen to be, let's say you're at some sort of gathering and you share an accomplishment. You're not bragging or anything, but you share that you've accomplished something because it fits in with the conversation. And you have somebody who tries to play one-upmanship. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with their own accomplishment, but somebody else's. For example, if you say, I finally got my first book published, because you're talking about books. And so you're just letting them know. And somebody pipes up and says, well, you know, so-and-so, yeah, well, they have like 12 published books. Watch out for that. It's trying to make you feel less than because you've only published one book, whereas somebody they know or claim to know, we find out that narcissists typically don't know who they claim to know. And I'll tell you how I know that. The case study from my first school residency that I had to attend in person before all the crazy making. Yeah, he was the one going for a PhD in criminal justice. And he was showing me pictures. Now, mind you, I caught the red flags right away because naturally I've got a bachelor's in criminal justice, right? So, of course, when he shared his dissertation topic, he asked if I would like to see it. And I said, sure, of course, naturally. And it was a good topic. So I told him so. And I was like, yeah, good topic. Next thing I know, he's pulling out that phone. He's showing me all kinds of pictures, fancy cars, and stuff like that. And then, showing me pictures of him in the same room as some so-called, we now know are actors, but some so-called politician, right? And he said that, he goes, you don't even have to really know the person. Just get a picture with them. And I was like, really? That's very interesting. Just get a picture with them to show somebody so you can say that you know them. Interesting. But that's a narcissist. That's what they do. Because remember, they're all about trying to impress people. And they think that if you are like following this, that, or the other, and they think that it can impress you or wow you that they happen to know this so-called public figure, that somehow that's going to, that's going to make you want to hang out with them more. No, that's okay. But I've got that. Yeah, I've got that case study. I've still got the notes. I've got the text messages. We're getting around to that, y'all. Whenever we get ready to launch our case study series, you want to subscribe, stay tuned to this YouTube channel. Oh, yeah. From toxic workplaces. And then that residency. Yeah, I spotted some instructors who were also very narcissistic. Yeah, one of them, she would clearly a narcissist, playing favorites. And she called the students who were in her cohort, if you will. That's what they call it. The students who were in her group, so to speak, she called them my people. And I would watch her mannerisms as she went over to their table, buddying up and playing favorites. It was on display. And I was like, And we don't forget that kind of stuff because that's what the narcissists do. That's what I'm saying. You can spot them quicker and quicker. The more aware we become, the more healed you get. And then the more you're able to maintain your emotional regulation. That's right. That's right. The emotional regulation is right. The more you can obtain it. And then, they are very shallow because they are fake. They are very shallow. We learn to pick up on their superficial tones, too, of their voice. It's like, okay. You can tell they don't really mean when they say they love us. You can tell they really don't mean it. And so, okay, right. That's classic, Chris, right there. That, narcissists will always brag about money. Always. And I would tell you, because they do that, it don't last them that long. Yep, but they do. Yep. So, y'all drop some more red flag of a narcissist in the comments on the replay, too, because that's how we're going to learn from one another as we continue to observe and pick up on these traits of these narcissists. And not only that, but their micro expressions and stuff as well. Never forget that, okay? Never forget. If they are staring blankly at you, well, you got to ask yourself why, because chosen ones don't look at people like chosen ones do not look at people like that. Chosen ones don't have puppy dog eye. Chosen ones we don't have the evil eye because we're not demonically possessed. We couldn't even do it if we tried. I know many of us have we've gone to the mirror. I've done it to see if I could do the evil smirk. It won't even form. I've tried. And I was like, well then, we because we're not demonically possessed. See, it takes the demon spirit to cause those micro expressions. Yeah, because they're evil. It's an evil smirk for a reason, right? Now, here's the other thing. Does the narcissist know that they've got the evil smirk? Do they even know they're giving us the evil eye? I want y'all to remember what God said in Jude 1:4, okay? I'm gonna find it here. It's one of the shortest chapters, but it's right before Revelation. Okay? So I have that project going. Okay. Let me get over here to 889 here, because it is very, very important to understand why God tells us we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. Okay? But we're wrestling against powers and principalities, rulers of the darkness of this world, the demon spirit, and the devil, and that spiritual wickedness in high places. That's the demonic possession and all of their wicked thoughts. And so in Jude 1:4, it tells us. Let me start with verse 3, okay, Jude. Okay, verse 3. Beloved, when I gave all diligence to write unto you of the common salvation, it was needful for me to write unto you and exhort you that ye should earnestly contend for the faith which was once delivered unto the saints. That's what we're doing. Because in verse 4, he says, for there are certain men crept in unaware, who were before of old ordained to the condemnation, ungodly men, turning the grace of our God into lasciviousness, and denying the only Lord God and our Lord Jesus Christ. Okay? That's what he means. He says also in verse 5, that's one place God tells us he's going to, I will therefore put you in remembrance. Okay? So when he says they're crept and unaware, that's what it means. I have a video available on the website where I break Jude 1:4 down a bit more for you all, the crept and unawares. Okay? Yeah, you can download that on up to 3 devices for that one low play. So I break it down, but in large part, it just means that they don't know that they're looking at you like that. They don't know. Now, as far as their behaviors, okay, yeah, they know some of the abuse that they dish out is abuse, and they don't care. That's the thing. Okay, another sign that, okay, narc asks you a question and then deliberately not listening when you reply. Oh, that's it right there. They ask us a question and then we'll deliberately ignore it when we start to respond. Or when we start to respond or we start to answer, they'll cut us off and say something else. Oh, yeah. That's a common one right there. Thank you. Yep, somebody needed that one. Because that's what narcissists do. Yep. That goes in line with the fact that they want to dominate the conversation. Big one right there. So we get a better understanding that the human host of the demon spirit, many of them are not aware that they're even doing what they're doing, because it's the demon that are causing those the smirk, the glare, the evil eye. Okay? Because a true blue, genuine human being wouldn't know how to do that. Because we don't. Chosen one, we don't know how to do that. Again, we've tried. Yep. Because naturally in the beginning when we were learning about all this, and I remember that evil smirk, I was like, I wonder if I can even do that. It's not in our nature because we're God's chosen children. And so, right, after we do the inner work and we start recognizing, okay, we got to overcome some narc tendencies ourselves. Oh, sure. Okay, so it's all part of pulling the beam out of our own eye, but we have to unlearn some of that stuff. Okay, yeah, to get right with God. Get right with God. And there you go. Because, well, that's all we can do. Is control ourselves and continue to get right with God. Another sign is when they act like a baby and they are 40 plus. Well, I would have to say if they are at least in their mid-20s and they're acting that way, that's a sign. Because chosen ones, we think about how a lot of things occurred for us naturally as we started to grow and mature. Because I can tell you that even in my early 20s, I was not, I know I did not resort to throwing a temper tantrum when something didn't go my way. Chosen ones, we're like that. We can reflect and go, hold on a second. Did we ever throw a temper tantrum when things didn't go our way, even in our early 20s and our later teen years even? Or even our did we? Now, as a kid, we might have huffed and puffed. But we do outgrow that. Naturally. Chosen ones do. And so when you see somebody throwing a temper tantrum and they are a grown adult, 21 and up, yeah, it's a pretty good sign. Because we learned to put that stuff away. And we didn't even realize that that's what was happening. So that's the other thing, you all, that attracts the narcissist to us, is the fact that they can see we're not one of them. That's right. Their demon spirit can see the anointing on us, but the human can tell that we're not like them. And it intrigues them at first. But they definitely want to try and turn us into one of them. And it's not going to work on chosen ones. No. Not going to work on chosen ones. Okay, see, that's the thing. If you're still struggling a little bit with the trigger of frustration, and I get it, because you're not alone, okay? There's several other fellow warriors also in the same season as you, okay? So you're not alone. And they're working on it too. So, because when you start to spot these things a lot quicker, it can be right in the beginning, because you're like, ugh, how can there be so many? Right? But there you go. You quickly find a workaround and you move on. Okay, good. Over time, as you continue to do that, it's like it'll become second nature, because you know that that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to frustrate you. They want you to be frustrated, because that's a negative emotion, right? And so if they know what they're doing annoys or frustrates you, they're going to do more of it. So there you go. Yeah, absolutely. So good job. Good. All right. Thank you for sharing, because that is going to help somebody. But spotting these narcissists quicker. Yeah. All right, everybody. So keep on keeping on. All right. That wraps up this one for today. And I just want you all to stay the course. Stay the course. And don't forget to check out the links in the description below if you haven't already done so. And that we do, at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, we do take service grants. Okay, we do accept those. And the PayPal link is also listed below for quicker access. All right. And you can always hop on over to the Patreon channel and further support there as well. For as little as $5 a month, we bring you more real world connection to the spiritual realm. That's what it's all about, building in the kingdom of God. And so, yes, you're welcome. You are very welcome as always. And we will see y'all later. Okay, there we go. Let me go ahead and put my chat in there too, so that we are participating here. There you go. Yeah. All right, everybody. So keep on keeping on. Heads up. All eyes on Jesus. Keep on going forward. And don't allow the narcissist to get under your skin. I know. It gets easier going forward. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father. And you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.